Blog number 36, Metaphorically Running from Bullies. I really don't imagine that I'm being paranoid, nor can I imagine that it has anything to do with my imagination. I mean, I never really imagined that it did. Although I do have to say that I have never been an individual who has a gift for long-range vision, or have I ever been able to constructively dream about future possibilities. When I was a freshman in high school and running from the latest bully in my life, I never conceived, nor did I ever have a notion that one day as an adult, I would still be running. Oh, it may be a mere fantasy of actually running these days, but the desired end result is still to try and avoid a bully. Inanimate objects appear to have me in their crosshairs, and I am getting the sense that they are somehow communicating and working together. Stairs are constantly trying to trip me, and it has become more than just an isolated incident. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist, nor am I currently under any delusions or taking any strong hallucinogenic drugs, prescription of course, but I am strongly suspecting that there is a flow of communication here that is being cleverly hidden and that the vast majority of us are not aware of. No matter where I go, the stairs that are in that place seem to know that I'm coming, and seem to have worked out a strategy beforehand to foil any attempt on my part to descend them with any amount of grace or dignity. No one has ever actually witnessed a tiny pair of hands reaching out of the stairs and grabbing my ankles while I'm going down, or that are pushing up on the bottoms of my feet, causing me to fall forward. But that's got to be the explanation. The stairs are the original, and remain to be, the grand masters of the sleight of hand trick. No matter how much I concentrate and look for the deception, they seem to have anticipated my level of attention to detail. Somehow they get me even when I'm holding onto a rail in one hand and someone else's hand walking stick, or the opposite rail with the other hand. Sigh. I'll avoid them whenever possible, and will give them my up and down business to their direct competition. That would be the elevator or ramp. And I'll probably never have a clear understanding of how that trick is done. Or better yet, maybe I should just sit down on a log in front of the ocean. I also have been convinced that the floors of my home somehow just know when I am going to stand up from a piece of furniture, walk down a hallway, or move from room to room. They begin to pitch and roll, and I begin to feel like I'm a little steel ball in the labyrinth game that is being bounced around while the player of the game manipulates the board and tries to avoid the holes. I see the holes now as bullies. My life now has become one of avoidance. The funny thing about this is that no one else in my family seems to notice the floors angling and yawning as I'm being aggressively and violently tossed about like a rowboat in the midst of a hurricane. Everything appears to be as normal, except for the fact that I seem to have an endless supply of ants in my pants. I used to play a game when I was a kid where I would pretend that the floor was covered with hot lava. Death was immediate if you touched the floor, so I would jump from one piece of furniture to the next, walk across the end tables, or make my way across the windowsill if it connected me to the next piece of furniture. I went through all of this, not only because it was fun, or the fact that I wasn't the one who had bought the furniture that I was ruining by jumping all over it, but also because I didn't want to get burned up. Back then, it seemed like the furniture and I had an understanding. Apparently, they could touch the molten rock and not get burned up, and they were only too happy to let me pounce all over them, and they would keep me safe. That sentiment has changed. They are now working in unison with the floor, giving me a false sense of security and relaxation, and then pushing me out whenever the floor signals, such as a vibration or a slight wink, and another labyrinth game begins. The doorways of my house either have a way to sense my approach, they can actually see me coming, or the floor is passing on a message that I'm heading their way, because they always seem to shrink a split second before I walk through. They do this so that I'm sure to walk into the frame. As I've already stated, I am not delusional, but I can hear a faint snicker of laughter and the instant immediately following banging my shoulder, or at least have a vague impression that I hear laughter. All my furniture in the house has begun to do the same thing, expanding by a fraction of an inch, so I will be sure to stub my toe, bang my knee, or drive my shoulder into a sharp corner, and then quickly shrink back to normal so that it appears as if I'm the one with the problem. Whenever I leave the house, I get the same impression that you get when you're facing another person, talking to that person and exchanging pleasantries. All the while, there's a person behind your back who is signaling frantically and waving to the person whom you're talking to. The person behind you wants to convey a message to the one you are conversing with that there's a secret that they should not divulge to you. Of course, all this is happening without your knowledge, and you go your way none the wiser. I suspect this kind of thing happens to me every day, except it is my house that is alerting the sidewalks that I am on the move again. No, I can't really prove anything, because if I turn around, the house will just be sitting there with this innocent look on its face. But the sidewalk seems to know of my approach beforehand. This would appear to be the obvious answer as to how this is possible. And it is the reason why I carry a big stick, to hold the sidewalks down when they get unruly. Well, that and the whole balance thing. Writing has become an issue, but I don't believe it's my fault. I think my penmanship is perfect, and that I am a victim of a systematic plot to make me look incompetent. I believe that all the pens and pencils have this little identification sensor in them that allows them to know exactly who has picked them up and trying to use them. Then they have the power, through internal programming, to write illegibly. I mean, how else would you explain the fact that my brain is telling my hand in exact detail what to write or draw, and I just can't seem to do it? I realize that a few of these things may be pretty far out there, even for just simple speculation. I mean, who's ever heard of using a big stick for balance? But as life goes on, I will continue to the best of my unwavering ability to run from the bullies. And while I'm doing that, could I ask you a favor? If you ever see the stairs reaching out for someone's ankles, could you try and catch it on film and send it to me? Thanks, I would really appreciate that.